Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on INSPINAR, Inspirational Conversation. INSPINAR is a 30-minute conversation designed to empower us all together with the roadmap for a more peaceful and productive life. I'm your host, Dr. Nidhi Gupta. Today, I have the distinct honor of having with me as my co-host, Tara Heaton, my co-speaker at ReConnect Nashville. In many ways, it is literally impossible for me to imagine ReConnect without Tara. Tara has been my guide, my mentor, my voice of reason and balance over the last 6 months of knowing her. By way of formal introduction, Tara is the founder of On Point Communication and creator of the renowned platform called Talk to the Brain. Tara is a communications and neuroscience expert. Tara, welcome to INSPINAR. Thank you for joining me today as we get together to celebrate ReConnect.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. G. It has been really, such an honor getting to know you. I know hard work, and I see a lot of people work hard, but they don't seem to have a great output and accomplish a lot. The amount that you are accomplishing in such a short period of time motivates me. It is so inspiring, and I'm just truly just so honored to know you and be a part of ReConnect.
Thank you so much, Tara. So ReConnect happened this Saturday, September 24th at View Studio in Nashville. ReConnect is a 3-hour unique experience that is delivering transformational results. ReConnect is designed to deep dive into the question of smartphone dependency, wireless mobile device dependency, and empower its audience with solutions so that they can walk away with tools to achieve life technology balance. The event was made more powerful by its engaging audience, dedicated sponsors, volunteers, and media partners. I received some feedback after the event, and based on that, one person told me, she was helping me with the event, Shayna Ramos. She told me as people walked out of the venue, she felt that they left with smiles on their faces and deep meaning behind their eyes. So today we have the golden opportunity to relive the experience, cherish the memories that we created, and learn what kind of conversations ReConnect might have inspired for some people, with their families, with their children, with their friends. What are some changes that people might have already put in place since ReConnect, and what else can we do to make ReConnect even more powerful for our next set of audience?
Wow, what can we do? You know what I was thinking about as we left there, and this is, this, but my business was founded in communication, and so much of it has that same science has really focused on our behaviors and our habits. So the two together, as we've figured out, are a great fit together. But here's something that I started thinking about as we left there. Humans can't build a habit in 3 hours. They can't truly change behavior in 3 hours unless they continue to repeat the behavior and remain motivated and continue to see the benefits of that. The other piece of, and I think about this a lot when I speak, is when we leave, if people feel wonderful and excited, but they cannot articulate it clearly and repeat it, then they can't share it. They can't do a great job of sharing it. They can just say, it was so amazing. I had such a good time. I'm going to use my cell phone less. And if somebody asks them why, we as the leaders need to give them those words, those repeatable phrases that will help them to spread this message to the world. So what would you imagine, like if we had to boil down our message into something that was repeatable, what would you imagine that being?
That's a great question. It's like trying to summarize 3 hours of workshop into 3 sentences, right? But that's a
Yes.
really good point. That is what we hope we empowered our audience to be able to do, because when they go out in the world and tell people about ReConnect, they don't have 3 hours to explain to the other people what it was like. So they have to make it short. So one way to do that would be, I am going to use my phone less, because during that time, there is so much more that is possible. There is so much more that I can do with myself to improve my health and well-being. There is so much more I can do to reclaim my time and attention and truly focus on what really matters. There is a lot of science behind it, and ReConnect helped me understand that science, helped me understand how technology might be manipulating my brain and how I have the tools to stop that manipulation and take the control of my life back.
I love it. Do you recommend that folks that are inspired to do exactly what you're saying, do you recommend that they record anything? Like, are there certain times of day that they should put their phone away that they're not used to? Like, how can they be even more tactical about it?
Well, it will take time and patience and practice. So time, patience, and practice. Beginning with, I would say, 3 things that are most important and most critical. When I'm doing shorter interviews and shorter podcasts on this topic, they ask me, what are a few steps that our audience can do? I'm like, okay, there is a lot that can be done, but if only I have 5 minutes. Number 1, turn off non-essential notifications. Number 2, wear a wristwatch. And number 3, use an alarm clock. As far as recording, Tara, I recently noticed something about the screen time app on iPhones. In the past, I used to rely on that information a lot, but now I don't. They have changed the settings in that in such a way, like when I'm driving and I'm using the GPS on my phone, it is counting those hours of driving towards my screen time. If during that time I'm also listening to Audible, it is counting that too as my screen time. So essentially, during that same time, I have been counted for 2 hours of screen time, 1 hour of driving, and 1 hour of Audible. So when I'm analyzing screen time at the end of the week, I have to mindfully subtract all of those hours from the total. So it's really not a good estimate of how much wasteful or how much mindless screen time is truly happening. They need to change those settings back. So recording is, I'm not sure if it would help or it would be a more time-consuming exercise that will again take people away from what they should be doing at that time, because they would be so focused on recording. So being intentional, being mindful of being in the moment. Okay, right now, what is it that I'm picking my device for? Is it for a specific purpose that I need to achieve? Or is it just to escape from something, just to kill time, just because I'm bored? So that the mindfulness piece is really important. I'm going to take a moment and read something that one of the attendees sent me here. She said, ReConnect team is simply extraordinary. I was blown away with their moving presentation, the context that they spoke so strongly about, as well as the stunning graphics and music that were used. I left the venue utterly inspired and deep in thought on how to be more intentional with myself and my family as we navigate this technology-driven world that we live in. Nidhi and Tara spoke in such an easy-to-understand manner with such an important topic, one that affects us in both a physical and mental form.
Wow. Wow. That is exactly what we would have hoped people would say, isn't it? I mean, couldn't have been any more encouraging.
Yes. So I think change takes time. It it takes reinforcement over and over again in order for people to shift something in their life. We have become quite okay with status quo. We have become quite okay with the systems and processes that we have put in place, and we hesitate to change them. And in order to change them, we know we will have to change our relationship with technology and with our devices. And we're like, do we really want to do that? It is so good. Life is good. Life is comfortable. Why do we need to do that? So human behavior is the hardest thing to change. And I'm sure you have found that in your own experience in trying to help people find joy.
Absolutely, because pleasure, little hits of pleasure from the cell phone or a cup of coffee or whatever the case may be, those are easier to access. They take less intention, less effort, and the hope to get the pleasure from the cell phone. It's still just, it amazes me that we just don't stop to realize every time we reach for that phone, it's a gamble. We may not even find something pleasurable. Many times we get a message that causes us more stress and the need for more of something that's going to give us what we think is relief. I'll tell you something I'm struggling with, and I'd love for you to go a little bit deeper on this one, because it was one of the examples you gave. When I get up in the morning, I pick up my cell phone. I'm still doing it. And I don't see it, like I'm not then going to Facebook and taking it to the toilet and all those things, but I want to see what emails came in through the night. So help me with that. Like, why should I delay that? I guess that's really kind of what I'm asking. Why should I delay that?
To have some private moments with yourself first thing in the morning. You do not want to start your day with the word. You might want to start the day with yourself. And it's really hard for me to articulate it. But once you do it for 3 days, maybe a week, you would enjoy that feeling. You would love that feeling. You will fall in love with your day, Tara. But the way I like to think of it is there are different ways to do it. Okay. One way to do it is not have the phone in your bedroom. So the night before, put it outside the bedroom, like move the charging stations outside. I don't do that because I'm essentially on call 24/7 for my patients. So my phone is on ringer all night, but it is out of my hands reach, farther away in the farthest nightstand from where I can still hear it ring, but it's not reachable. Then the second thing to think about here is, let's say we sleep for 7 hours. How about we imagine that we are sleeping for 7 hours and 30 minutes? Okay. If we have managed to stay without our phones for 7 hours, can we just stay without them for 7 hours and 30 minutes? Okay. Those 7 hours are the sleeping 7 hours with our thoughts, with just ourselves, and the 30 minutes are awake 30 minutes with just our thoughts. Sometimes, well, most days nowadays, now that I've been doing it for several months now, I am all done with my morning routine. I'm dressed, I've gotten my kids up, gotten them ready for school, almost heading out the door with my kids. And that's when I realized, oh, where's my phone? It's been 2 hours and I haven't, not 2 hours, an hour and a half, and I haven't looked at it. I completely forgot about it. And I'm able to do so much in the morning. You can't imagine, Tara, with 2 little kids, a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old, getting them up, dressed, ready for school for them, ready for work myself, making sure their homework is there, their lunch is there. There is a lot of focused attention that is needed in the morning hours. And if I have my phone there to distract me, I'm sure something will be missed. I'm sure something will be forgotten. But more than that, it's just being in the moment, just being present, no distraction. I like to think of early morning minutes as my personal space. I do not want news, email, Twitter, Instagram. They're nobody to me. They have no business in
That's a great point.
Right? Who are they? They're strangers. They have no business encroaching into my personal life first thing in the morning. Nobody has a right to bother me first 30 minutes of the day. So
okay, so I tell you what I'm going to do. So this is when I'm at home, I travel a good bit, but when I'm at home, I wake up, I look at my phone. Then I put the phone away and I do about 40 minutes of exercise, 10 minutes of meditation. Then I invite the phone back into my get in the shower, get the coffee, checking the phone back and forth. I'm going to take your advice and I'm going to report back to you after doing this. And I'm going to tell you what I experience. So
I can guarantee you, but I'm pretty sure your exercise will be more powerful. It will be more mindful, and meditation will be easier because your mind will not be running in 10 different directions. At a very subconscious level, the mind keeps processing all the information that it has just accumulated from emails, from news, from social media, whatever it is that people check in the morning. We like to think that it doesn't affect us. We like to think that we are just scrolling, but there is a single neuron with every bit of information that is being occupied. Some part of the brain space is being occupied with more and more and more information that we are collecting. There is no time for brain to relax. And when it comes to checking your phone while doing other things, we like to take a whole lot of pride in being multitaskers. We like to think that, oh, we're really good at multitasking. We can check our phone while we're driving. It really irritates me when people are driving like this, right? So their phone is their hands. I'm like, what's wrong with you? It takes a microsecond for an accident to happen. Just put it down. So our brain, human brain, is just not capable of multitasking. It's not designed to multitask. When we think we are multitasking, we are essentially switching from doing one task to the other and back to the first task. And in that process, we are not doing either task really well. There has to be a strong neurochemical reaction that happens in our brain every time we switch from one task to the other and back to the first task again. So multitasking is a myth. It's not a fact.
Yes. And you know what? I know that to be true. I know you are absolutely 100% spot on. So I am, one thing that I think maybe we should encourage folks to do, because I'll tell you where my stress level is already going during this conversation, is my family and my close friends know I'm a morning person. And I think that in their minds, they think, oh, before she gets in her meetings, this is a good time to contact mom or my friend. So I need to proactively tell my family, you're not going to be able to reach me in those morning hours anymore.
Just tell them that. What time do you generally wake up, Tara?
Around 5:30, pretty early.
So tell them you're not waking up until 6 going forward.
Okay. Yeah, well, they're not calling me that early, but I'm thinking about that whole morning routine from I get up, check the phone, then do the workout and the meditation. They know I'm doing that, but just to leave it away for, like you said, like an hour and a half, 2 hours before I actually even look at it. It sounds exciting. Even to think about it, it sounds so empowering.
It is really good. And I know Giovanni couldn't be here today, but in one of our last meetings, he had mentioned that he has started doing this, not checking phone first thing in the morning. And he had a similar experience where he went through his entire morning and then forgot that, oh, I haven't looked at my phone for almost hour and a half, though I planned to not look at it for 30 minutes. And so I'm not sure if he's been able to stick with that habit, but he did try.
I think he is, because he mentioned to me, we were talking about it. I was telling him that I'm still getting my phone out in the morning. I've made some significant changes thanks to you, but that's when I have it. And he said, oh, I have an alarm clock. It'll change your world.
Absolutely. I want to see if Ms. Gupta, if you want to share something, you were there at the event. If you have anything that you want to share, your takeaways, what you learned, what changes you might have made in your personal life. You're muted.
Yes. Thank you, Nidhi, for asking. Thank you, Tara, for being in ReConnect over there. And before I say what I felt, I am still struggling with the morning time without phone, which you were just discussing. I have to be like very particular about having an alarm clock and a wristwatch, which I am procrastinating. But now I will have to do that to make my morning better. And one question which I was thinking to ask Tara there on that day only is still in my mind. So I like the talk which you did, both of you did, the phone thing. I am following regularly about it, and it is awesome, absolutely true. And I think everyone attending the ReConnect will be trying to implement something or the other out of either escape displays or alarm clock or wristwatch or morning routine, something or the other. They must be doing work on it, right? So it must be very impactful. It is impactful on the minds. Maybe it takes some time to be impactful on the hands, but on mind it is. So that is the awesome thing. And now my question, which sometime like comes to my mind, and it is for Tara. So Tara dear, you told what type of hormones are produced when we have certain habits, right? Like dopamine and all everything.
Mhm.
My question is, can you make us aware what type of hormones are produced in our body when we are angry, when we are sad, when we have negative thoughts, or we are not happy, not joyful? So what type of hormones are released in our body during that time, and what harm they cause us?
Wow, that's a powerful question. I'm sure Dr. Gupta could chime in, but I do know a little bit about what you're asking. And the number one hormone, which is also a neurotransmitter, is cortisol. And there's so much research out there about the physical harm that cortisol does to our body. That when we feel stressful, angry, upset, and I've researched this a lot because there's a little bit more I've uncovered, but this is the number one. It affects our heart health. It affects our ability to sleep. It affects our ability to eat well. The list goes on and on. What it also does, though, is it elevates, and this is key to Dr. Gupta's conversation. When our body is flooded with cortisol, it elevates our need to find pleasure because we want relief. We're looking for relief. We might do it from the cell phone. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to play a game on my phone. But it's not really relieving the cortisol. It might a little bit because it's helping us to forget what we're stressing about, but it's elevating something called norepinephrine and epinephrine, which is like adrenaline, and that affects our heart rate and our blood pressure. Again, it's difficult on our health long term, as we know. So,
all right, thank you, Tara. Thanks. And how can we get rid of that?
Well, we have a dance between two neurotransmitters called glutamate and GABA. And glutamate is excitatory and GABA is what calms that down. So, and the way we can calm ourselves down are to follow some of those practices I talked about that are joyful, like savoring moments, like meditating, like learning something new, anything that gives us that state of peace. And the ultimate state for that is something called flow, which I'm sure you've heard of. But when we're in ultimate flow, we are in high challenge and high skill. And that is like healing to our body and mind.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I love knowing you.
The other thing I would add with cortisol, purely from endocrine perspective, is higher levels of cortisol can increase your blood pressure, can increase your blood sugars, and can cause weight gain. So a lot of times when people are stressed, they tend to indulge in stress eating or emotional eating. So eating adds to the weight gain, and the cortisol, which is the outcome of stress, also adds to the weight gain. So all of that put together doesn't help overall health and well-being. Oftentimes when we have had a busy or stressful day at work, we want to come home and indulge in junk food or binge eat. So that is our cortisol manipulating our brain. That is our cortisol taking charge of our body.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Nidhi. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. That was a fantastic discussion. Thank you so much, Tara. Is there anything that you want to say before we close today's episode of INSPINAR, Tara?
I just want to encourage anyone who's listening to take those baby steps to lean into joy and put the wireless mobile device, or as you call it, the weapon of mass distraction, away and reconnect with things that matter most.
Very well said. You essentially said what I say at the close of the episode. Let's reclaim our time and attention. Let's reconnect with health, joy, and efficiency. Let's reconnect with what truly matters. Let's ungrip devices and grip life. I will see you next week. Thank you.